Hey guys, Dr. Kresimir here, chiropractor from London, Ontario, Canada, helping people live extraordinary lives through the power of structural chiropractic care and life by design principles. On today's video, we're going to be talking about fixing tension headaches. Before we get there, because there is a lot to talk about in this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's get this information out to more people so it will help them become healthier and better, which is really the underhanded purpose in shooting this video. So, what's a tension headache? Well, there is many types of headaches. Tension headache specifically relates to a tightness or an issue with the structures of your neck, which will cause this typical referring pattern. Usually it involves the muscles. However, in my experience, muscles are rarely the cause. And when I say that, I don't mean that they're not causing the headaches. I mean that there are things that we are doing consistently that are causing the muscles to react and create a headache, if that makes sense. So I have 3 things that I want you to consider or to do, and one that is more of a question it's more of like a don't do, but it implies a bigger question. So step number 1 is, and of course this is going to be a very biased answer, but I will explain it because it makes good sense, is to see a structural chiropractor. Why would you want to do that? So there's a big difference between, at least for me, between a correction and a manipulation of the cervical spine. When somebody comes into our practice, what we're doing is we are analyzing their spine for areas of the spine that is stuck, or we'll speak specifically about your neck. Your neck is 7 vertebrae, and every vertebrae, because it's a joint, has a range of motion between the vertebrae that the vertebrae should be able to accomplish. Now, because of physical stress, chemical stress, emotional stress, some of those vertebrae become stuck. They don't move properly, and if they don't move properly, they negatively affect the nerves at that area. So there's a neurological component, and because those nerves go to the muscles, and because the muscles are unable to do their job properly, there's also a muscular component as well. So what happens is there's a time in your life when, poor posture or poor range of motion eventually will become poor structure. And it gets really challenging if you hit that point. So for example, if all of us spend a lot of time in this position, and we'll get back to this position, but if somebody were to tell you you can, straighten up, you can straighten up because the underlying structures are all healthy. Eventually, and we've all seen older people like this, where we tell them to straighten up and they can't because the range of motion in the vertebrae, the structures are actually damaged and now they don't work properly. So the type of chiropractic care that I'm advocating, which I call structural chiropractic care, is to make sure that your spine has the ability to move correctly and fully through a full range of motion. So you would do that by seeing your chiropractor. Now, step number 2 is, once the individual segments have that range of motion, what you want to do is you want to restore normal range of motion into your neck. So you want to do range of motion exercises. So the range of motion exercises are really simple. You want to flex. You can do these in the shower. So flexion, extension. If you like the idea of a half roll for flexion extension, you can do that. Lateral flexion, and then rotation. So what I do in the shower is that for 2-3 minutes, however long I'm showering, it's flexion, lateral flexion. And if I notice that there's a sticking point, then I will spend a little bit more time working on that sticking point. And number 3 kind of ties it together. It's actually looking at the muscles around your neck. So let me show you what I mean and the tools that will be necessary. So you're gonna need your foam roller and you're gonna need your lacrosse ball. The foam roller exercise looks like this, especially from all the sitting. I know I've shot videos before on this. I know that most people, when they use their foam roller, they roll up and down their spine like this. What I want you to do is interlock your fingers behind your head like this, and then let your head hang back while you're tucking in your chin like this. So what that does is that's the opposite of sitting forward with your head like this. That helps your head come back. And the other thing that I want you to do is take your lacrosse ball, I'm gonna show you the left side of my neck, but we're gonna start the base of the trap, and we're gonna be looking for any muscles in there that are uncomfortable or that are referring or have those knots or trigger points. And if we find one of those knots or trigger points, we're just gonna spend some time breathing through the pressure, and eventually it'll release. And if we can't find any, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna travel up the neck. You know, you wanna go from the base of your neck to the base of your skull. So literally, to show you, I'm working from this area all the way up into this area on both sides. And again, if I find a spot that is sticky, what I'm going to do is just hold it there. Take a couple of breaths. It doesn't have to be overly painful. You know, I don't have to crush myself with agonizing pain. You can if you want to, but I don't see the benefit of doing it that way. And then when the muscle releases, you know, the goal with that is to break up the scar tissue that's in the muscle and get your muscles to slide and to glide, which will help. So those three things together. Now, another important conversation, and I don't know what you do, but you need to have a look around at the different positions and situations that you're getting your body into every single day, and minimize, for example, minimize the position, you know, of your head moving forward. Maybe a stand-up desk is the solution, or the one that I like, because I hate doing work at stand-up desks. I think they suck. I can't concentrate standing up and doing the same stuff, but getting up and walking around and doing your mobility throughout the day is something that's helpful. The point is, it's not enough to, it's really helpful, the three things that I showed you. It will, and oftentimes it might help clear everything out, but we need to look at what you're doing on a daily basis so we're not recreating the same problems over and over again. If you have any comments or questions, please post them below. I would love to have a conversation around this. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.